Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day from wherever you are joining in from. Thank you so much for keeping to time. It's 7:30 here. This is West African time, and we are ready to start day three. Thank you, everyone, for keeping up the tempo. Thank you for going on this journey with us, and thank you for participating actively. This is day three of the Growth Conference 2024. I can assure you that we have so much excitement packed for today, and this is the crowning of the event. So if you haven't joined the first, the second day, tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your associates that they need to come as we wrap up this event. So we'll be starting. We have started already. My name is Ogo Ekwale. You can also call me OG. I will be your moderator for today, and we're just going to go into, the gist of today. We have had and before we start, please use the flag emoji in the comment section so that we can know where you are joining it from. I'm going to dive right into it, and see your flags. I just call out people from, and I hope I recognize all the flags. I used to be good in flags. I hope I am. So please just post your flags to tell me where you are joining from. Thank you, much appreciated. Welcome. Yeah, India. We have someone from India. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining in. Please, I want more people to just drop in their flags. I'll come back to the to this comment section and then read out the flags that I can see. But I know from yesterday we took a snapshot of the participants, and we see people from Zambia, South Africa, Uganda, Namibia. People joined from India. We saw people joining from the UK. I can see, oh, let me see, Nigeria, yes. And this is Australia. I hope I'm right. I think so green flags, but yeah, I hope this I'm correct with that. So people have joined all the way from Australia. I appreciate this. Thank you, thank you. So we have Kenya here. Thank you. We have Kenya. I want our technical team to take a snapshot of this because this is actually going to be a proof and evidence that we really went around the world. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So to kickstart this event, I will first introduce our host. You know, we call her the woman who can wake up the sleeping giants in you. She's the hostess of the Growth Conference, and she will give us, the opening speech just to welcome us here for the third day. So, Noella, you have the stage. You have a few minutes to welcome us, and then we'll just start the event. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Sana, I can see you. How are you doing?
Hi. Fine. How are you?
Oh, Hillary. Hi. How are you doing, Erica? Mulundu, how are you?
I didn't put my screen behind me. Sorry, Noella.
Hello, I'm good, thank
Oh,
you.
no problem, Hillary, no problem. No problem. Where is Erica? I can't see her. Okay. I hope she's not having any network glitch. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third and final segment of the Growth Conference. It's been an amazing journey so far. It's been an explosive event. The last 2 days have just been phenomenal. And today is going to be the climax of the entire event. And I'm so happy that we all stayed to this time. More people are joining, more people are going to join us today. And I know that we are in for a very, very, do I say hot ride? But we're in for a very intense ride today, actually, because we have people who are going to be talking to us about very important topics that will help to change not just our mindsets, but that will help to change our lives completely. Remember that the theme of this event is reinvent and relaunch yourself. In the last 2 days, we've been saying so much about reinventing yourself, about starting all over, about making your job your highest priority. A whole lot. Today, we're going to be talking about mentorship, the role of mentorship in growth. We're going to be talking about inclusion. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that would help us to become better people. Like I mentioned, this conference is for women, but it is with the men that support the women, because women cannot live in isolation, and we are not here to create gender camps. We are not here to also draw any gender battleground with our men. We cannot do it all by ourselves. We need a male perspective to be able to achieve our goals our main goal of helping women to reinvent and relaunch yourself. So, to reinvent and relaunch themselves rather. So, sit back and enjoy this final segment of the event as I yield the mic to Ogo, who is our moderator tonight. Ogo, over to you.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm sure everyone is ready, and we are ready to digest and soak in all the information and knowledge our speakers are going to hand over to us from the years of experience. But before we get into the matter of the day, it's important that we have a recap of what has been said for the past 2 days, to just keep our minds fresh and tell us, just snippets or takeaways from our previous speakers. And I'll start from day one. We had Mary Ann Parker, who's an ethics and personal development coach from the USA. And our topic was equip yourself for the journey. And one big takeaway is, she said, be open to changes. Learn to apply your skills into any new field and invest in yourself. She already dropped some iconic books for us to, keep up with our self-development, and we have shared it on all our platforms. Then we moved on very quickly to Ndidi. She was taking us on how to be exceptional at the workplace, and she dished out a lot of wisdom. And one key takeaway, she said that the work environment is a place to develop your personal brand and leverage on your network to take you to the next level. So you need resilience, staying power, experience merged with creativity and risk. This will catapult you to the next level. Then we moved on to Dr. Bahati, who is a broadcaster and mentor from Uganda. And she said, when you detect you are on the wrong track, make a U-turn. You can start again. Always learn to insulate yourself, because negativity is very contagious. And extend grace to yourself always. Never forget to say this word: I will never be broke and broken again. Key words from our day one. We move on very quickly to day two, where we had Wumi, who is the founder of the Blooming Hub from Abu Dhabi. She talked about finding yourself. She says self-discovery is about peeling many layers of yourself so that you can find the germs within you. Finding yourself is an adventure. Get in there and get dirty. Discover yourself. She says, find out your core values to determine your self-belief, because finding yourself is a pursuit of purpose. Then we delve very quickly to Kriti, who is a global mindset coach from India. And our topic was collaborate for growth. She says you need to be visible. Then you move on to credibility, which will eventually bring profitability. It's one of the key factors, in keeping your connections. She says you need to have a global mindset when networking. She says never begin with benefits for yourself at first. Always ask the question, what can I do for you? What value can I add? How may my contact be of help to you? And that's how you form authentic networks, when you're networking. Then we go to Akosa, who is a tech founder, and her topic was leveraging tech. And she says you need to join communities, if you are a woman in tech, because that will help you, take you further. You don't need to go alone. And she dropped a lot of resources for us and communities to join. And then she says tech can actually help you reduce your cost labor because there are so many tools you can leverage on. She says also that all the stereotypes in tech are all false notions. Please, anyone can thrive in tech. Then we had Elfrida, who took us on how to monetize your opportunities. She says never talk down on your skills or abilities. Self-awareness is key. Actually, it's the best strategy. She says be patient with yourself. We are all on different journeys. And she says always think value, always think value. You will be rewarded when you think value. So that's a quick recap of highlights of what our speakers, our able, proficient, excellent speakers, gave dished out to us in day one and day two. These are just highlights. It was massive and it was packed with so much information. So let us now introduce, our speakers for today. We have four fantastic speakers who will be taking us on different topics that I know most of us are aching and itching to know more, that can benefit us. Remember, this is the Conference 2024. Now, to introduce our first speaker for the day, it's a privilege, we have this esteemed woman within our, network, you know, her vast knowledge and groundbreaking work in branding, international marketing, and communication strategy has made waves globally. And we are fortunate to benefit from her insight and expertise. Now we're talking about Sana Bakshi. I hope I got that right. Bakshi, a versatile communication and business consultant. She is the CEO of Brand Moxie. She operates between the USA and the UAE, excelling in branding, international marketing, communication strategy, innovation, and stakeholder engagement in public and private sectors. As the CEO of Brand Moxie, she oversees a comprehensive suite of services from branding, PR, advertising, to retail consultancy, emphasizing brand alignment, segmentation, and experiential marketing. Her entrepreneurial initiatives include founding Tamarkan, fostering entrepreneurship, and leading Temple's interculturalism efforts. Additionally, she champions platforms like The Smooth and the World for Good for film talent and sustainability. In the UAE, her roles as an advisor for Abu Dhabi Municipality and Higher College of Technology showcase her strategic communication expertise. Currently, she provides top-tier consulting in innovation, entrepreneurship, and mentors through Veros, fostering cross-cultural dialogues among entrepreneurs. Her leadership in AMCAM, Abu Dhabi, chairing committees like Women in Business, spearheaded initiatives like Women Achieve, promoting women's empowerment ideals. Fantastic. She is really pushing the women's frontier aggressively. We really appreciate the work they're doing. She also has teaching roles at Zayed University and advisory position in industry committees. Her career journey began as a journalist at Gulf News, where she met global leaders. I remember what Indidi said. She said that where you work can be actually your stepping stone to a new level. Clearly, she has used the opportunity to build a professional career for herself. And she moved on to many dynamic roles. Her entrepreneurial spirit and vast network has all have significantly shaped her influence, fostering impactful partnerships and bridging cultural gaps in diverse industry. She'll be taking notes on the topic inclusion, the pathway to growth. So let's give a resounding warm welcome and digital applause or virtual applause to Sana. Sana, thank you. Welcome, welcome,
Thank
welcome to
you.
Growth Conference 2024.
I'm so sorry that's such a long thing. I should have just
No,
given
it's
you a short
okay.
paragraph. That would have been enough.
It's well deserving. Please always showcase always showcase what you've achieved. We all
Thank
need to know so people will be inspired and like, oh yeah, I can do this. So it's good for everyone to know. It's fine. It's okay. Thank you, welcome, Sana. You have the floor now, to take us through your topic before we go into the questions of the day. And your topic, of course, is inclusion, the pathway to growth. Thank you. You have 3 minutes for this.
Thank you. By the way, the sound is a little bit weak. I hope you can hear me well. I'm in Dubai.
Excellently.
Yeah,
I
the
can hear
time
Excellently.
you.
is, you can hear us. Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah, it's almost 11 o'clock here. So maybe a little bit about my background first. I'm a big believer, a big champion for inclusion, for fairness, for just, really building intercultural connections between people. And this is maybe because of my background. I straddle maybe 4 different cultures. I was born in Ethiopia. My great grandmother is Ethiopian. I am from Yemen, from a place called Hadramaut in Yemen. I am an American citizen. I live in the UAE, in the United Arab Emirates, and most of my extended family here are Emiratis. So I really feel like I am privileged, I am honored to come from different places. But I think that also puts me in a position where I feel like I wish people would connect to each other more, because there's so much more that makes us the same. We have, many universal values that should bring us together, and yet I am sometimes frustrated because people don't try to understand each other. They don't try to accept each other, to include each other, to reach out to each other. And so for me, all my life, I've always been striving to just connect people. So even when I was running, Brand Moxie, the marketing agency, I had a space. I would bring people from different cultures together. My friends are from everywhere. I'm very, very honored to have people from almost all the countries that you can imagine. And so within my space, I would just celebrate, the Arabian events, the Black History Month, the Filipino events, the American events, the Indian, and all of that. And the whole idea was just to show how close we should be and we can be if we open our hearts, if we open our homes to each other, and if we try to understand. So inclusion is one of those things that really drives me. And I focus a lot on social impact in many other ways, but I feel like inclusion and tolerance and openness are the anchors of a better society, a more successful society, a prosperous one, a more secure one. So this is sort of where my my beginnings are, and my purpose, where my purpose comes from. I hope I answered the question about the introduction.
Yes, very. Yes. Thank you. Very in line with exactly what we want to hear. Do you want us to go into the questions now, or do you want to add more
Sure.
to that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. We can
Okay.
go into the questions. Shall I go
Question.
ahead and start, or is there going to be
So
a question? You want to
yeah, question.
ask it first?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
ask you. Yes, I'll
Okay.
ask the question. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So, inclusion, it often involves addressing systemic biases. Why is it important that institutions effectively and continuously identify and dismantle these biases? Speaking from this perspective, you have a broader, view of it. You've interacted with lots of people, and definitely you are the expert in this. Help us broaden our mind when it comes to biases. Some of us don't even understand what systemic biases are. We live through it, we don't even know what it is. And after a long while, when we are exposed, you're like, oh, well, that's the bias, but it's almost 10 years gone and you've been in the rut of the system. How do you identify what system biases are, and how do institutions, effectively identify it and dismantle these biases?
Right. Ogo, I'll tell you why it's so important for us to be inclusive, why we should be aware of our biases. It goes back to why we need, why do we need people to be treated the same? Why do we need that? As a very basic foundational stone, everybody needs to be treated the same. If you look at it, even in our religions, all of the Abrahamic religions are about equality. Everybody should be equal. When you look at it at national level, if you talk about the wars that are happening now and the tragic deaths that are happening, and I don't want to go into politics, but a lot of that stems from the fact that people are not being treated equally. And so you need to treat people equally to create a society that works. Basically, it's like a machine. You want a society that is functioning well. For a society to function well, everybody has to have an opportunity. And here we're not talking only about nationality. We're talking about ethnicity. We're talking about religion. We're talking about age. There's something called ageism as well these days. So people have to be treated with respect. They have to be evaluated and assessed based on their merits, not who they are, but what they bring to the table, what their value system is, and the core of the BA. So I think that is a very, very important thing to have. So if you see it at an institutional level, the same dynamics are there. If you see an organization where some of the people are not being treated well, you create division. People start talking, why did he get it? And why, then you get this thing called nepotism, and then you open the door to corruption. There's so many things that start happening when there's no inclusion. And so the reason why we need it is because it's not only the right thing to do, but it is the thing that will actually make the organization move forward to prosper and all of that. So it also, the other factors are, it touches almost every component. It touches things like security. It touches things like belonging, sense of identity, and so it is integral to almost any kind of business, whether it is a small business, a public entity, a private entity, a government, a nation. It has to happen like that. So people are happy. You build a better society, a more prosperous, more secure society.
Wow, thank you so much for that insight. I'm sure when we get into the other questions, people will gain even further clarity in what exactly inclusion. And sometimes, if we are also participating in these biases, we are also, yes, we're not just against us, we are also participating, because somebody is actually perpetuating these biases, and it could be one of us, but we're not aware that we are participating in it as well.
That's exactly true. Yeah, exactly true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to talk about your bias, just the bias thing. I can tell you, I know people from almost every nation you can imagine. Everybody is biased. Everybody's biased. Deep down, you look at a person from another background, they might be poorer, or they might be rich, or they might be a different color. You have your biases. I remember something that Oprah said one time that resonated with me. She said, all of us have biases. but we need to first recognize them. We have to know that they're there, and we have to actively fight them. And the thing is, we should, even if they're there, we should never act on our biases.
Wow, true.
Yeah, we should
Even
never
if they
act
are
on
there,
them.
we should not act on our biases.
Yeah,
So we must accept that they exist, but we must not act on it. Fantastic. That's great.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really, you really struck a chord in my heart, and I will put that in my heart.
Yeah.
Never act on my biases. Okay, moving on to the next question. We're asking, in what ways can leaders actively champion inclusion as a driver for growth within organizations, ensuring that it's not just a checkbox, let's just do something that looks inclusive, like an event or something just in the corner, or a policy, what, but an integral part of the company's efforts. This is particularly for entrepreneurs who are building their companies. They need to understand what exactly they need to do long term to say that all my company is inclusive, beyond policy making and activities, Black History Month, this thing, this one, what is that? What is that thing that the leaders need to champion actively? The word is
Right.
actively.
The most important thing in an organization, the one thing that is the driver of this kind of change, is the leader himself or herself. A leader who cares is a leader who will enforce the policies. It is a leader who will encourage and nurture empathy, understanding, openness within his or her staff. For me, it breaks my heart when you see an incredible team of people. They're all, they all want they want to do good things. They want to work hard. They want to build the company. They love the teamwork. They want to perform and make a difference. And yet you have a leader. And this could be a leader at the top, or it could be a middle manager, or at any level. And the minute you have somebody who doesn't actually uphold those values, who is not insistent on carrying out those policies, who doesn't care that during the meeting, one of his staff was talking and nobody listened to her, or somebody was not invited to a meeting, or if that isn't enforced, nothing works. Even if you have the best policies, you have the best PR, and everybody says what an amazing company it is, and we have CSR and philanthropy. If you don't actually have people who care at all levels of the institution and enforce that in a very systematic and a very in a totally messaging aligned way, and in behavioral and action aligned, it doesn't work well. You're going to find pockets here and there of people who feel like they haven't been recognized, the entity doesn't care about them, they are not included in certain projects, they're not remunerated well. So I see leaders as the single most important key to that. And so the kind of leader that you want to be is, you want to be a leader who, first of all, validates efforts. You want to be a leader who listens. You want to be a leader who comes down. You don't need to be in your office on the 15th floor. Come down and sit and talk to your staff, and listen to them, connect to them. You want to be that kind of leader, and you want to be somebody who understands if there are bottlenecks, that he or she does something about it. And the only way that can happen is if the leader listens. They actually listen actively, and they have a process for redress. Like, if I don't agree with something, there needs to be a process for somebody to actually listen to me. And it has to be a process that is integrated into the institution and that takes a process where it is checked and there's compliance and there is actual follow-up. I've seen a lot of people in many organizations where there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it looks great. You see all of they've covered everything. They've ticked all the boxes, but at the end of it, the person feels left out, and it happens in many organizations, unfortunately.
Wow. So I clearly hear you that the leader is a champion at every level. So whatever is happening up must trickle down. You must leave your position, your office literally, and sit with your people and
Absolutely.
hear them when they are not speaking and while they're speaking. Thank you so much. The leader is a champion who, it's not about the policy. Yes, it's written somewhere, we know it, but if the leader is not actively showcasing that policy with his or her actions, then it's just paperwork that we sign and
Yeah.
we know.
And the staff, they see it. You can't hide it from them. Maybe outsiders see all the candy, but people inside, they know the truth.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for that. So the leader is everything. The leader is everything. So we're asking, are there examples of strategies or initiatives that have proven effective in capitalizing or this shift, towards greater diversity, equality, and inclusion, therefore, or thereby fueling collective growth? Like, tell us strategies that you've seen that have worked.
Okay.
And this strategy, yes, you've seen it work over a period of time, and you can see the evident results, because everything is about strategy. When we write the policies, when we have our meeting, we want to do this, then we document it, then we implement it. So the implementation is always the challenge. I know that you have a lot to share with us as per strategies. So please, you have the floor to share.
So I'll tell you a very funny story of something that was very disturbing to me. I was a consultant in a company, and I was told to come in and see, to just listen at one of the leaders as he was engaging with his staff. So the funny thing, Ogosh, he called the staff, and apparently the company was really conflicted. They were saying the branding doesn't work. And the staff were saying the color needs to be blue, and their manager was saying no, it has to be red. So then people told him, look, you have to listen to your staff. So I was there. He called his staff, 15 people, and he was there standing, and he said, I want to go all around and ask everybody what they think, whether it's red or blue. And he asked the first person, the person said blue. The second person said blue. The third blue, all the way, all 15 said blue. He looked at them and he said, thank you very much, but we're going to go with red.
Wow.
It was just, wow. It was disturbing. And all the staff, they went out thinking, what a crazy guy. Even if he had wanted to go with red, he shouldn't have made such a spectacle of it like that. He just completely showed everybody that, he didn't really care. So this is an example of one of the dumbest things that I've seen. But there are many examples of things that really, really work. And one of the things, I was at one point in a group, the American Business Group here in Abu Dhabi. We came up with something called Women Achieve, which is a pledge. I was chairing the committee at that time, and we came up with a pledge of certain, what are they called? Like promises. We pledge that we will give the women in our company an opportunity to serve on boards, 2, to get equal remuneration, 3, to get proper training, 4, to and we came up with that. And when we launched it, it was crazy because it was immediately signed by a lot of companies. But the most important thing about that pledge, what we wanted them to do, was we wanted them to take it and frame it and put it on the wall where they will be reminded of it every day. And where also the women will hold them responsible for it. There's no point in signing something and it's in the drawer. So the point here is, if you have something that is about empowerment, or you want to, whether it's for women or whether it's any kind of inclusivity thing, showcase it. Part of the thing that makes it work is the communication aspect of it. So it needs to be included, it needs to be reminded in the newsletters, it needs to be in the communication, it can be messaging that is across the whole institution, but it's reminders that the institution stands by its words. And also the other part of the coin is the staffer looks at it and says, this is my right. So they take them to task if that's not delivered. But other strategies that I've seen that really work is when you actually bring people together. The only way you can get people to respect each other, to work with each other, is if you combine them in teams. So for me, one of the things that I always tell my clients is mix it up. You have a project, mix it up. Bring in people from the different countries, bring people from different ages, backgrounds as well. The more different backgrounds you have, the more you drive innovation, the more you drive productivity. You get different viewpoints. There is so much value in bringing in different viewpoints, because this way you get a much richer output, rather than something that is very narrow-minded and something that is repetitive. A lot of companies, they do the same thing over and over and over again because of bias. It's a different kind of bias. It's the bias where you think this works and you're not open to other ways of doing it. So the minute you bring in somebody from a different community, a different race, a different religion or whatever, they come in with fresh perspectives. And one thing that I loved in my office was I would always bring young people, because my staff learned so much from the young people as interns, as much as the interns learned from the experienced staffers, So the most important thing is bring people together, and you get sparks of innovation, you get sparks of excitement, and you build teams that are diverse and ready to do amazing things.
Wow. Sana, thank you so much. I picked up on a lot of nuggets, a lot of things about inclusion. I learned a lot myself, and I'm thinking about myself and a team that I'm going to work with in the future, even if for a short period of time. In my mind, back of my mind, will always think about inclusion. Put them in teams. Make sure your inclusion statement is more of a pledge, a promise, than a policy. I really got that. And I'm sure there's so many things that people in the comment section will be throwing out. I was just going to have a recap later. But thank you so much, Anna, for your time. Thank you for expertise. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us on inclusion.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
And the session is over.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on very quickly, everyone. I hope we are having a fantastic time. Please drop your questions, drop your comments, drop anything that resonates with you. Sana dropped a lot of ideas, a lot of nuggets for us about inclusion and biases. So please use the comment section to empower other people so that they can also learn from you. So getting into, the conference is beginning to have the right stairs for today, and we are going to be, connecting with another amazing speaker. Our next speaker is an innovator, a developmental and communication expert, Her profound insights and pioneer work in cognitive behavioral therapy is an exciting opportunity for us to learn and to grow. Remember, this is a growth conference. We are speaking to a lady who's an innovator, and she's the mind behind the Knowledge Cafe. It revolutionized the workplace for comfort, creativity, and dynamism. As a regional HIV testing services technical lead at Right to Care Zambia, she provides strategic guidance in HIV testing and client retention. She's armed a master's in communication for development and a bachelor's in development studies from the University of Zambia. Mulundu is and has held influential roles, including committee membership in the university judiciary, focusing on student affairs and policy reviews. Her tenure as campaign manager at the United Nations Association of Zambia fueled her passion for empowering women and epitomized by the Woman Rise slogan, aimed at inspiring women to improve their lives, a cause she plans to expand. Mulundu's trailblazing accomplishments includes being the first Zambian representative at the Commonwealth Youth Summit in Malaysia and attending the Global Leadership Conference in Hollywood, California. Her recent selection as a speaker at the Leadership Conference for African Leaders in Rwanda further underscores her global impact. She is a certified cognitive behavioral therapist, and she has championed causes for women and children, collaborating with organizations like the Catholic Relief Services and the University of Zambia Victim Support Services. She aims survivors of sexual violence and trauma. She's very passionate about public health. She has led large teams in healthcare and collaborated with diverse stakeholders to implement evidence-based intervention. I really like that. Her leadership philosophy revolves around identifying and nurturing future leaders, particularly women, believing in the power of mentorship. She mentors her mentees, describe her as spontaneous and innovative. Mulundus favors her leadership, innovation, and advocating for women and children shines through her impactful initiatives and dedication to monitoring individuals at different career stages. Her ethos revolves around the knowledge that the idea that knowledge is meant to be shared, marking her as a catalyst for positive change in the community and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not too busy, please let's give a resounding applause, virtual applause to Mulundi Mombalanga. Yes, I got that. She is a development and communication expert from Zambia. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you
Welcome.
very
Thank
much,
you.
August.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us today. Your impressive profile. I was like, whoo, we need to see this person in picture, one-on-one in video, because we are ready to just eat her up, eat her brains up, and the topic, you are taking us on is leading yourself, which is like one of the most difficult tasks you can ask from anybody. We can sit back and always give advice. You can do this, you should do this. But when it's time for us, we have no motivation. And leadership is at the core of this. So you are going to take us on the journey and the topic leadership, leading yourself. So you have the floor for the next few minutes, and then we'll move on to the question Q&A for your session. Thank you. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ogo. Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. Thank you, Noella, for making me part of this amazing experience to share knowledge and gain from all the amazing women that have spoken and the men that are here to support women.
You're welcome, Mulundu.
The first thought, thank you. The first thought that came to my mind just now is about when people are asked to speak about themselves. I know that one of the most
undesirable question in job interviews is tell us about yourself. People normally get stuck. I have been avoiding that question for a while now. Every time I go for an interview and I'm asked to talk about myself, I'm thinking, oh, what am I going to say? But I believe after this conference and when I was asked to speak about self leadership, that is going to actually totally change. And I hope it's going to change for everyone. That should be actually everybody's favorite question. When you go for an interview, when you meet someone, you should actually be excited to talk about yourself. It should be your elevator pitch, actually. So self-leadership is something that is not very commonly talked about. Everybody talks about leadership. They'll talk about this person being a leader and that person being a leader. What about you? So for me, I believe self-leadership is the beginning of all leadership, the types of leaderships that we can ever think of. There is no way you can pour from something that you don't have. There's no way you can pour from an empty cup. If you don't have that self-leadership, it is actually very, very impossible for you to lead teams. Self-leadership is the ability for someone to actually control their behavior and thoughts. In psychology, we have what we call how we connect thoughts, feelings, and action. There's no way you can, when you think of something, there's obviously something that you feel, and there's a way that you are going to actually behave. It connects. And that is how leadership actually is. I'm sure there are times when we have looked at leaders and say that leader is not a very good leader, or this leader is a very good leader. It all has to start with the self, with you as the person. If you do not understand yourself as a leader, it's impossible for you to lead teams. So if I am to look at the stages of self-leadership, there's what is called SOAR. That's SOAR. So starts with the self. That is being able to understand who you are. Who am I? When people ask me who I am, I should be able to speak confidently about myself. There's also O, which talks about the outlook. How do I perceive things around me? There's also the action. How do I respond to different situations? How do I respond to different circumstances or challenges? And then there's the action. There's the reflection. Sorry. So when we act in a certain way, we are supposed to make sure that we reflect on our behaviors, we reflect on our actions. How did I speak to this person? Did I send a message across that is effective, has been understood? Even as we work with teams, we need to communicate effectively. I think the previous speaker spoke well about effective communication. What we say to people has to be clear, it has to be concise, and it has to be understood. And at the end of the day, you should get feedback that is clear. And in that way, your leadership is going to be effective. And then there's another part that I really like about self-leadership. Those are the 4 S's. So the 4 S's, the letter S, there's self-awareness, which actually correlates with the SOAR, being able to understand yourself. There's the self-regulation, being able to stop yourself from what you should do or should not do. There's also the self-motivation. There's nobody who's going to push you if you don't push yourself. The moment I tell myself this, the moment that I get up and see that I'm able to lead, will I be able to see the opportunities outside? The moment you stay back and do not actually push yourself, the less opportunities you're going to see out there. There's also the self-learning. So self-learning is actually very important. We need to learn. Learning has to take place each and every day. We never stop learning. We're never too old to learn. I think that's what I can say for my opening statement or introduction of self-leadership.
Let's watch this.
Olga? We can move to the questions now.
Good evening, everyone. I think Ogo may have a systems problem. She'll be back on very soon. But while we're at it, Mulundu, let me see if I can take any questions from the chat box. But while we're talking, I noticed my name is Chinwe. Well, I was the moderator for yesterday. Okay, Ogo, you're back. Please
Yes,
come
I'm
back
back.
up. Thank
Sorry.
you.
Yes,
Fantastic.
thank you.
Ogo is
So
back.
sorry. Yeah, sorry about my network. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Can you hear
I
me
can.
clearly, please? Can you hear me clearly?
You are clear. Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry about my network just went off a bit. Okay, I don't know if I missed anything, if you were done with the introduction of your topic. I don't know if you're done with that. Are you
Yes, I will.
still with it?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
okay. So we can go into the questions. Sorry about that. Apologies for that. So I know that I got SOAR. I know the last thing I heard was reflect. I know that I got that before my network went off, and I don't think you said too much before I came back on. So I have that in mind. SOAR for us to recap at the end of the Q&A. So Mulundu, can you tell us, self-leadership is often involves making decisions, to align with personal values. Through our, session, we have been talking about self-leadership in different ways, but now we are capping in on the actual term that we want people to focus on. And we're asking, how can individuals clarify their values and use them as a guiding principle principles in their leadership for themselves, especially when faced with challenging choices. That's when you know if you have values or not. When challenges face you and say, what do I do now? How do I assert myself to say this is who I am in the midst of the chaos? So just take us through that.
Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is understand what values are. What are values? There are all these definitions. You talk about the moral and ethical principles that guide a person. If I'm to give a very simple definition of values. And the first thing that we have to do is is to know what personal values we have. What are your values, Ogo? It's
Yeah, I was wondering if you want me to answer right now.
No. Just pull in your leg. I want you to think about your values.
Yes.
So usually when we work for if we're in an organization, there are these organizational values. Sometimes you have to memorize them, other times you forget. But what are your personal values? Each person needs to have values. And the starting point can be you have a journal, you have a book, it's rare. People talk about these dream boards. We've done dream board parties where we write about all that we want to see in the next 10, 5, 15 years, in the next 2 months. But it's rare that you'll have someone come up with a board or maybe writing down what their values are and really internalizing and understanding them. So if we haven't been doing that, it's very important that we know what our values are. So the starting point is to list all the values that we believe and feel we have. I can give an example. I value honesty. You can value empathy. You can value family. And it's not surprising that some people can value family. Others do not have that as part of their list.
Yes.
And when we understand the values and list them, how now we can answer the question that you have asked is, first of all, to really look at our experiences. You start by looking at your experiences. So what have you experienced in life? What have been the challenges that you've experienced and the good things that you have actually experienced? In those moments that you were having those experiences, what values were present? We need to reflect and see what values were present when we won, when we achieved that goal, be it a personal goal, be it an organizational goal, be it a family goal. What values were present? Was there empathy there? Was there honesty? Was there integrity? when we faced the challenging situation, what values were present at that point when we faced that challenge. So we need to actually be able to reflect on the experiences. Then once we reflect on those experiences, we need now to start narrowing down. Remember, I talked about a list of values. You can have even 20 values, but it's not very common for you to use all your values at once. We need to start with baby steps and identify what are our core values. So core values, you can have even a minimum of 5 core values. So with those core values, you now have to prioritize which ones actually from the whole list, and you come up with the core values. You prioritize which values you're actually going to apply in your life, and then use them as guiding principles when faced with challenges, when faced with decisions that you need to make that are critical. Remember, there are times where people have quit jobs because they don't align with their values.
Values, I agree.
You find maybe, yeah. So maybe you find in an organization you do not agree with certain decisions that have been made, maybe to maybe pardon prisoners or people who have committed a certain crime. So for you feel people must learn by receiving the punishment that has actually been given to them and face the law. And then that organization believes in pardoning. So it won't align with your values. And sometimes you may have to step back and say, I will not work here because that does not align with the values that I uphold. So that is actually, that is how you can actually use your values.
So you're saying outline values, but the only way you can know that you have those values is when the actual challenges come. And once the chaos or the storm is gone, sit back and reflect and say, how did I go through it? What are the things that reflected more? Did I show integrity? Did I show patience? Did I show empathy? Did I show this? So the job for us is to sit back and reflect. That's when we begin to catalog what our core values are, not just to sit down and go to the internet like, oh, these are our values. You write them down, but they're not going to take effect until a challenging time comes. That's when we can zero in on our values. So when another time comes, we will zero in on those things that we have reflected on and hold on to them during those difficult times. I hope I, got that clearly for everybody to get on. Fantastic. So I'm moving on to the next question, and we are asking you, how can individuals strike a balance between self-discipline, a very difficult one, and self-compassion in their leadership journey, ensuring they remain driven towards their goals and also nurturing their mental and emotional well-being? Everybody talking about mental well-being now, more than anything in the world. For the past 5 years, it's all about mental health. So we're saying, where's the balance? Self-discipline allows you to work hard, you stay on the goal, stay focused. And compassion is, when do you offer yourself, like Dr. Bahati said, grace. At one point, can you offer grace to yourself and continue on your journey of leadership?
Okay. So reminding everyone that we're talking about self-leadership, So as we lead, there are situations that we actually face which are very difficult. There's very little time that we give ourselves to face the negative consequences of our actions, our decisions, and sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. We want to give up. We say, no, I have failed. No, I'm not going to do this. And sometimes there won't be anyone to come and encourage you. You have to face situations on your own. So what we need to understand is there are times when things won't work out the way we want them to actually work out. Sometimes we are going to fail completely. We would have invested our time in a project, in friendships, in relationships, in work, in business, in different aspects of our lives. There'll be those moments. And it's those moments that we need to step back and reflect on and actually just give ourselves that self-compassion to say, this has happened. It happens. And pat ourselves on the back and say, you are strong. You are able to do this and you are able to rise. It's through that self-compassion that we are able to build or develop emotional intelligence.
Intelligence.
And
Okay.
when we do that, yes, it's through that self-compassion that we are able to develop that emotional intelligence, that we're actually able to create that discipline. Discipline just won't come on the table and say, I'm disciplined, I'm strict. It comes from experiences. So in those experiences, when you fell down and got up, or when you succeeded and maintained a certain momentum, then you are going to develop that discipline. Then you'll be able to strike the balance when you're able to understand that there'll be situations when you're going to fall down and you need to pick yourself up. Sometimes people will not pick you up. You need to pick yourself up. Other times you need to talk to someone. Though, as much as we talk to people and they encourage us, as long as your heart and your minds do not agree with what actually someone is trying to tell you or help you with, then you will not move. So we need to have that. And then we need to have empathy for our future self.
Oh.
Remember, in the future, we are leading ourselves. We are talking about self-leadership. We're thinking of the future, how we are going to actually be able to stand up as the leader and be able to even lead teams. We need to have that. Will be in that situation when I'm looking at my goals. Remember, even as you are leading yourself, you're supposed to have goals. You're going to have goals. First of all, you understand who you are, what you want to do, the skills that you have, and how you're going to do what you want to how you're going to do what you want to achieve to get to your goal, in short. So you need to have that empathy for yourself. Put yourself already in the future. If you don't picture yourself in the future, you won't move towards the future. And we don't have to look at the wall in front of us. Look at the wall as a door. People will say, no, that's impossible. But when you want to achieve, see every wall as a door.
As a door.
Always know that there's a possibility that wall can be broken and you can move forward. And one other thing that you can do is practice self-compassion. You still have to continue practicing self-compassion because you keep falling. Yes, you have to keep, as you move along your journey in life, there will be times when you fall. Here we're talking about growth. Remember, this is growth. And in this journey, as we grow, we'll still face challenges as much as we are motivated today. But one thing we have to remember is I can break through. I need to have that self-compassion. And then you need to identify your desired experiences. Remember, we talked about experiences. So those experiences that worked for us, I would call them as signature strengths. What are those signature strengths? Those signature strengths are what you should hold on to move on in your leadership journey.
Wow.
When you carry all these with you, trust me, when you lead teams, you'll be able to understand the people from different backgrounds, embrace culture, diversity, and even global relationships like we are right now.
Wow. Thank you, Mulundu. You know, the fantastic thing is, like, every speaker always hinges on the next speaker thought process or topic, because everything is intertwined, is connected. You talked about how self-leadership can help you better in inclusion. Sana just closed out that. So it's clear that we're on the right path. And one thing, self-discipline actually comes from self-compassion. That is how self-discipline started. Before, we used to think that, oh, you need to be disciplined and then compassion next, but you're telling us it's the other way around. Show yourself empathy in the future for the discipline that will require you to get there. That is, you know, so informative. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time, you know, to just, you know, tear this down a little bit more. But we have many more speakers to connect with today. But we're definitely going to give our participants a highlight of everything you've said here. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your time, your knowledge, and your experience with us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone, please a round of applause or virtual applause for Mulundu. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, thank you.
I've got one more comment on values.
Okay.
Go. So I don't know if I said this. So there's a quote I read to say, once upon a time, or at some point, Elvis Presley said, values are like fingerprints. We all have them, but they are different. So always know that the values that the next person has can be different from you, but we all have them. They're just different. And sometimes you can find that you have the same values, but your interpretation can be different. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Values are like fingerprints, but but we all have them, you know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're moving very quickly to Mr. Ufon Udofia. He's back. I remember everybody was itching, asking him questions in the comment section on day 1 and day 2. Everybody wants to know more about the IEOM. So Mr. Ufon Udofia now has the spotlight. You know, you're going to have your presentation again, walk us through what you do, and the hostess, Noella, will be asking you some questions, to give people better understanding of the value IEOM brings to us, women and entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs. Thank you. Can we have spotlight? I have to even ask if he is in the room now. Please, let's see if he's in the room right now. Technical team, do we know if Mr. Ufon Udofia is in the room? If he's not in the room, can we move on to the next speaker? If he's not in the room right now, we can move on to the next speaker. If that's okay, I need a go-ahead from the technical team at the back end, if we can move on to the next speaker.
Yes, Mr. Ufon is not available at this time, so we can move on to the next.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. I appreciate that. My just went off, but we'll continue the conversation. So we have our next speaker here. Our third speaker for today is a sales magnate. Her commitment to business management and innovation, an innovative approach in the sales sector has garnered her respect and admiration worldwide. You understand, we are at this moment going to connect with the amiable Erica Franklin, founder of EFB Consulting. And just a brief, I think this is definitely a brief highlight and profile for her. Please confirm she's in the room. She's available for us. Is Erica in the room for us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. Welcome. And just to quickly run through her amazing profile. So Erica Franklin is the founder of EVF Consulting, a business and sales consultancy that focuses on transforming business and people through passion, perspective, and partnerships. She achieves this by joining sales teams, providing revenue growth and client retention strategies, career coaching, and speaking around the world. She has been named as the 100 Powerful Women in Sales in 2023 list by Demandbase and Women in Sales. Wow, fantastic. I cannot just wait to hear her strategies. Erica has dedicated most of her 15+ years of professional experience, marrying her strong background in communications with her relationship building and customer focused approach to nurture clients, sell products and services, and grow revenue and partnerships. She hopes to continue impacting the global tech and corporate partnership spaces for the foreseeable future. Erica is a proud AG who obtained her BSc in journalism and mass communication from North Carolina A&T State University. She later received her MA in advertising from Michigan State University. With her passions in sales, tech, and education, Erica intends to inspire others to be their best selves. Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Please let us welcome Erica Franklin. Welcome. Let's spotlight her at a moment. Erica, you're welcome. And your topic is something that a lot of women struggle with. So you would help us, to tell us that it is okay. We want to hear that word. It is okay. We want to hear you are doing just fine. And the topic here is creating harmony between career and family. We are trying to say, how do we marry both? Can we have it all? If we're not having it all, is it okay to have one? Assure us. This is a time for deep assurance for women across this platform. So Erica, you have the floor for the next 3 minutes. Thank you.
So if you all see me bouncing, it's because I actually have my son on my back right now as we speak. So I'm Erica Franklin. As you mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of EVF Consulting. It has been a great journey to be able to travel the world in the last, I would say, 7 years or so, really more in depth. And then I came across Ghana in 2019 and kept coming back. And now I have made it my second home. I'm originally born in the United States, but as I said before, traveling has led me to other places. And so now I'm in Ghana. I got married and I have my son, who is 5 months. And this was the perfect topic for me. So thank you for having me. And entering in not only motherhood, but also being a new wife. And so it has been one of the greatest things that could happen, but also challenging, right? So from my perspective, it's the early years. I'm sure some of you all have been married for, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So I have a long way to go. So wish me luck. I'll tell you that it has been some great things so far, right? And as you can see, I don't have too many bags under my eyes, or I'm not looking too tired. So I've been fighting through the challenges, and hopefully I can say that I've been winning. So that's a little bit about me. You guys heard about my career, personal kind of things that are going on in my life, business-wise in Ghana, as well as across the world. I also am the director of sales for Sisters in Sales, which is an organization that has a community of over 12,000 women of color in sales. And we're working to drive them into sales roles across the world, as well as be able to upskill them. As many of you know, that Black women, as well as women of color, so Black, brown, and Asian women are, when you get into certain roles, you're one of few or the one and only. And so we are trying to really impact that and face that with all the great talent that we have across the world.
Great. You do fine. You're doing fine already. And obviously, with your impressive career, I think you're going to bring a lot of that to your new home. Definitely. It's like running your little business called family. So we're going to delve right into the question about balancing career and family and making just the required lifestyle adjustment. So how can individuals embrace and navigate these necessary lifestyle changes without feeling that they are making a sacrifice? It's a personal pain and ache for a lot of women, especially women who have been in careers for a long time before, starting up a family like you're doing right now. How would they feel like they're not making sacrifices? Rather, they are on their journey. And are there strategies for reframing these changes as positive change choices rather than compromises. Yes, very key for us.
Okay, so let me just say this. I have come across many women, talented, beautiful, all the things. And a lot of women struggle with making a decision on whether they're going to continue their career or go and have a baby or go and get married, because we feel like we're giving up something. And essentially you are, right? So first of all, you got to be honest with yourself, right? You're no longer alone. It's no longer all about you. It's no longer, just your decisions and so forth. And finding the right partner is key in that. And if you are going to be a parent without a partner, making that decision and making a decision holistically with yourself, right? To say, I'm going to do this. But the first thing I can say in regards to being able to embrace it is that change can be tough. So just remembering that. But my number one advice is to let go of the old you. So who you used to be is not going to be the person you are now. And if you think about that outside of your personal life, in your career, when you get promoted, when you go to look for a new job, you usually are making changes. And so this is another change in your life that you need to embrace and accept. Also understand that you are making sacrifices. You just have to get over the fact that you are. And it's okay, because the wins that you will get inside of your home will help you elevate yourself and push yourself in your career. And then since many of us are very focused on our career, some tips or strategies that I could say is that in your career, you have performance reviews. If you are one of those type of people, you could make a performance review for your home, right? And don't be too hard on yourself, but remember the key things about spending time with your family, spending time with yourself. So something that has been a challenge for me is to make sure that I get some alone time, right? Because I used to be alone and now I am with husband and with child, and getting lost in, your husband's needs, your child's needs, sometimes you can lose yourself. And so it has been one of my key goals is to make sure that he knows, my husband knows, and my baby will know, right, when he can talk, that mommy needs some alone time now and then, whether that's for me to read or to just sit quietly and drink my coffee. But it's very important to be alone and be with yourself so you can think clearly, you can start your day clearly or end your day clearly and really get yourself together. But going back to really looking at this life as like a career, I'm sure you guys have seen on social media couples sitting down talking about their actual couple goals, like career goals and so forth like that. So I would recommend that for families to keep on track, to know where you're struggling. Because sometimes we don't get chances to talk to each other. If your partner works a lot and you work a lot, and your child is not in the home and you guys aren't like a unit together for a lot of time, things can get lost in translation. You might not know why your child is screaming. You might not know why your husband's not talking. So it's like how to have these meetings, whether that's weekly or monthly, to be able to come together and say what went well this month or this week and what didn't go well and how can we change that together. And then for one challenge or one fail that you think that you are having or think that you have made, try to tell yourself one positive thing or one win that you had, right? I think you should do this daily because things can go crazy, right? Especially with kids. It could be a great day one day and then crying and fighting or like not wanting to go to school or not wanting to listen. But then you talk about where you won, what did you do positively? Oh, I made this, we got out the door on time. Or, I got to meet up with a coworker and that meeting went well. So give yourself, a one win for the one negative that you might have seen in yourself. And then lastly, for those of you who make task lists, right? So I know that there are some folks who make lists who try to cross things off. I would say to start adding family items to that. And I would say not just like execution items, like, oh, I got this done, but hugs, affection, reading to your child, or like having a 5-minute talk with your spouse. And then also having a checklist item for self-appreciation to remind yourself that you are, the best.
Wow. all I can hear is the intention. You just have to be intentional about everything, or else you're going to lose yourself. You've said that it's definitely a sacrifice. Let's not kid ourselves. But if we are intentional about the list of items you have said, the first thing is get the right partner, because when you get the right partner, all this you have mentioned will be easy for you. Oh, let's come and have couple goals. Oh, I'm ready for this. Let's review ourselves. Oh, yes, get on this. Or let's do this. The person is ready to work with you to achieve this. So the key factor here is get the partner that is like you and on the same journey as you. And then you intentionally, narrow down, list all these things, your self-care, about yourself, your family, your husband, your children, and always look for something positive to negate the negative outcome. And then you just keep thriving every day. Wow, fantastic. Thank you, Erica. So we're going to move next question. And how can individuals reframe this perspective about family responsibility hindering career progress? Now I have a family like you. If I see that I'm being limited by my responsibilities at home, tell me how I can reframe my mind to say, oh, it's just for a short period of time, or what else can I do for my family to know that I need to advance in my career while still taking care of them? Please walk us through that emotional journey. Yes.
Sure. So let's take the first part. And I mentioned this before about thinking of your personal life as a career, right? Or like using those kind of career goals and career mindset for your actual family, your family life. And I think that that's important. I'll give you an example. So Forbes wrote an article last April about the 11 essential soft skills that they thought was going to be needed in 2024. And I looked at that list and all of those things you need in your home. So, I mean, essentially you are fine-tuning and sharpening skills that you will need in the workplace over and over again. And there's also people that are talking on social media about how moms are like the best employees because some of those things on the list, let me just go into that, is communication, bingo, right? As women, we have to know how to communicate and negotiate, right, with our spouse to get what we want. And so it's very important. Active listening is in that piece of communication, persuasion, to be able to persuade our kids to do what we want them to do, to leave when we want them to leave. The next thing is leadership. That's just what we are as women, leaders, period.
Period.
Period. We inspire everybody in our home. We motivate them. We want them to be the best. And, we are the ones who are emotionally intelligent to be able to kind of piece things back together when things fall apart. That's just the ingrainment of a woman. And then teamwork. Of course, we are working with our team, which is our family. And whether that is just our spouse and children, or whether that's our in-laws, who we're, married, our family that we're married into, our family as a whole, we work together. For me, of course, I have my sister-in-laws or his aunties who come and take him when I need him to go if I have some type of work engagement and so forth. And so we collaborate and work towards the ultimate goal of me being able to have balance, to be able to be a superstar at work and a superstar in the house. It doesn't always end up that way every day, but we try. And then also creativity, right? So brainstorming and thinking out of the box. Again, that's what moms do. That's what spouses do. That's what wives do. We usually will tackle challenges differently. We look at things differently. We approach things differently. And so that's a definite skill that we have. Time management, hands down. We got a million things to do, but we figure it out. We prioritize, we organize ourselves. If we can't do it today, we figure out how to do it tomorrow. And then adaptability. So going through these changes, right? So like I said before, I was alone and now I'm married and now I have a baby. So adapting has come naturally to women because we go through these life stages. And so we need to give ourselves credit for that. Problem solving, of course, that is within that. Work ethic, critical thinking, conflict management, And as it was said previously, emotional intelligence and being able to recognize those things. And so really, again, those things are needed in careers to be successful. So just think about that. You are already using that in your home, and you can take those things, sharpen them, and then use them in the workplace.
Oh, wow. Erica, you have, the bottleneck that women struggle with. Like, I can't get back to the workplace. I've not done this. I'm not up to speed with this. But you already have the necessary skill. Like you said, you just need to sharpen it. That's all. You have everything to thrive in the workplace. Just a little bit of time at the workplace, you understand how things work in that organization with the required skills you already have as a mother, a wife, and you're there. You're there. So there is no cap. There's no glass ceiling, really, especially for women who feel that they don't have the capacity to do many things. It's already within you, is in you. You use it, but think about it using it at work and, demonstrate the skills. So I don't know if everyone is listening to this. Erica is telling you that you have everything. She's listed about 10, 15 skill sets that moms have, wives have. So nothing is going to hinder your career except you yourself. So all you need to do is—
last thing I wanted to say is that asking for help. So that's where, all of these things and sharpening these skills are great. But if you are at work and you're drowning in work and you have mommy brain, right? And you can't think as fast and you can't be as efficient, you need to ask for help. Some of us don't do that. And we fight and struggle and burn out and feel tired and exhaust ourselves. But we have to understand that there are other people who, one, want to help, and two, will help and will come through for you. So that's the flip side of trying to be the best at everything. And going back to what you said before, trying to have it all. You can have it all, it's just at different times, right? There'll be some days that'll be great and you were a great mom and a great employee and a great this and a great that. And there'll be days where it's not. And you have to forgive yourself and lower your expectations, even though you don't want to.
Wow, you can have it all, but not at the same time. I think that is enough clarity for a lot of us struggling to be the hot mom, the fit mom, the great mom, the mom with kids that are excelling. Everything has its time. If you look at it that way, you are doing good all the time. Collectively, you can have it all, but not at the same time. Wow. Very, 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 very eye-opening for a lot of women. Erica, thank you so much for giving us different doses. You are breaking off the ceiling, all those things that keep us in the box because we're married and we're wives and we're mothers. You can't do it, but you can. So we are going on to now. This is one that a lot of people are asking, and they're saying, how can individuals redefine success in a way that goes beyond traditional measures? That's considering the non-financial rewards of investing time and energy in both their career and family. How do these different forms of success intertwine in creating a fulfilling life? When it's not about money, when nothing is coming to you financially, how can we thrive in this sphere of life?
Well, I'm
and
sure
still consider it a success.
Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of women on this or attending this great event that are entrepreneurs. And so, as you know, that is one of the toughest things. Like, I'm going through that. There are highs and there are lows, right? And so being able to, there's sometimes money and there's sometimes not, right? Sometimes you lose a contract or lose a client and you have to go out there and fight the good fight and find new business. Or find old business and reignite those communications. But in order to take the word success, I think that you have to kind of take a moment to manifest the life you want. And when you think about that, that does not just include work, right? So, and that does not just include money. And so I did this, I want to say it was 2022. I made a manifestation list with the things that I wanted. And it was more high level items that included, like, I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be, you know, healthy and have certain things. And I can share that list openly in the group if you guys want. But I made this list. Go ahead.
That would be great. That would be good if you share your list, because people need to see it that you are practicing exactly what you are.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah. So you make this list, and unlike annual goals, right? Because everybody is a new year, it's a new me, right? Unlike annual goals, these are more high level. So you give yourself grace, you can give yourself time, but this is like your vision of where you see your life going, as opposed to where you want to execute immediately, right? And so by manifesting what you want, you see yourself greater than just an employee. You see yourself greater than just a wife or just a mother. You see all of these things together. And so that's the way that you would really redefine success, because those things combined would make success, as opposed to just what's in the workplace. Also, what's really making you happy, you need to ask yourself on a regular, right? Because it changes as you evolve. So you need to make sure you're checking in with yourself. Like I said before, people have these meetings with their spouses or with their kids to see how things are going. You need to have that alone time to check in with yourself, to figure out what will make me happy today? What has been making me upset? You know, how can I either change these things, impact these things, or do something to make me happy? We all probably know someone who has worked hard and missed out on years of their kid's life, or years of spending time with their partner, or we know someone that has a sick parent and can't really spend time with them, right? Because they're working so much. And it's like, those are the types of things I want you to think about when you think about success. So it's like, is it just work, or do you want to go spend time with your mom, brother, kids, spouse, wife, you know, whoever, to be able to live this fulfilling life, as opposed to just this successful life in the workplace. I'm a firm believer that by living a whole life, right, you'll be successful. And what I mean by that is, so for example, less than 100 days after my baby was born, I needed to do this speaking engagement. And when I say I needed to do it, it wasn't anyone pressuring me to do it. It was me telling myself, Erica, get back out there, get your spark going, because that is part of what makes me happy, right? Is one, helping others, being able to use my skills and my talents to be able to impact people, as you said in my bio, to be able to really get people to see the best in themselves. And so I needed that. So I had that conversation with my husband. I let him know that, babe, I got to do this for me, right? And it ends up being for us, right? Because because mommy's going to come home happy and motivated and want to do what I need to do in the house. So that better life is what I'm talking about holistically, looking at everything that you want in your life, right? And also, don't just look at the things you want, look at the things you need. Because I know that there are women in my network who think that they know what they need, but it's really what they want. And so how do we look at those things? Because those things will ultimately make you happy.
Oh, Erica, thank you so much. Thank you for being vulnerable here. Thank you for sharing yourself with us, your professional self, your family self, your motherhood here, and just telling us that you are a regular person, and these are the things you are doing to constantly be on track. You are sometimes overwhelmed, sometimes you're happy, but you have, taken a personal vow to do more for yourself so that your family can enjoy you more. So everybody should know and hear that you need to be more for your family to enjoy you more. You need to be more in your career. You need to be more about your goals, about your vision, and we should always manifest what we want. So Erica, thank you so much for your time. I really had a good conversation with you. Thank you. I'm sure that in the comment section, people are already, there are plots there already for you, and they're dropping nuggets of, what you shared. Please drop your list. We need that list. We need that.
And to all the women, you're doing great. So just keep reminding yourself that you are doing great. Like every single day, get in the mirror and be like, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's gonna change how you just end up going through the day and how you impact other people in your life. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you. Please, a virtual applause. They're clapping for you in the section. Please, thank you so much. So, can we move on very quickly to the fourth speaker for the day? Technical team, can I move on? Is Dr. Hilary here on call so that we can move on very quickly?
I am.
Oh, fantastic! Welcome. So, to cap it up all, 3 days of the Growth Conference, we are here speaking about mentorship. We all know that mentorship is always the most recommended approach to anyone who wants to grow in any sphere of their life. We always hear mentorship. And we have in our midst a well-respected authority in the area of leadership. Her dedication and unwavering commitment to excellence makes her a true inspiration for us all. We're talking about no other person than Dr. Hilary Duckett. She's an associate professor in leadership at Lincoln Business School, UK. Now, she's an esteemed academic with a global footprint, renowned for expertise in portfolio development, innovation, and educational management. Holding extensive experience, Dr. Hilary possesses senior-level strategic and operational leadership skills, excelling in project management and interdisciplinary team management. Actively engaged in numerous funded research projects, Dr. Duckett spearheads a management knowledge transfer partnership and champions international initiatives supporting women in tech and women tech entrepreneurs in the Philippines and facilitating women's advancement in senior leadership roles in Nigeria. Fantastic. Within the academic sphere, Dr. Duckett undertakes university-wide responsibilities in ensuring teaching and learning qualities while maintaining a key research focus on leadership, entrepreneurship, and I think this is PGG. I hope I got that right. As the director of Lincoln International Business School, DAB, Dr. Duckett demonstrates aptness in digital delivery, content development, and serves as the COSSH lead on knowledge exchange, fueled by creativity and a strong motivation. Dr. Duckett boasts a diverse portfolio of project management accomplishments, showcasing adaptability and versatility in various domains. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Hilary. She'll be taking us on the topic mentorship, a catalyst for growth. And you are wrapping up the most important topic, because everything that we have discussed here today or tackled, dissected, ends up with we need help, we need support, mentoring anybody to get to the next level of growth. So Dr. Hilary, welcome. Please let us spotlight Dr. Hilary here.
Thanks very much, Ogo, for that lovely introduction. And thanks so much to the previous speakers. And I've been making loads of my own notes going through. So fabulous. Thanks a lot for that. So I mentioned quite a few of the other speakers have sort of touched on the need for mentoring, making changes, building networks, connecting with other people in very diverse ways. So quite a lot of the other speakers have already talked about aspects of mentorship and why it's so important. Lots of really notable people have had mentors. So we think of somebody like Dr. Martin Luther King. He was mentored himself by Benjamin Mays, who was one of the founding fathers of the civil rights movement in America. And he helped him along the path of getting a doctorate and encouraging him to, follow his lead in the sense of promoting civil rights. And look where that ended so fantastically well. Oprah Winfrey, who's been mentioned tonight as well. I mean, she's been mentored by Maya Angelou, obviously the well-known poet and writer. And she's inspired her to become the kind of media entrepreneur that she is, but also using her power as a force for good. And we all know the amazing work that Oprah Winfrey does for women's education worldwide. So lots of notable people have had mentors, and Forbes and the Harvard Business Review suggested very recently in various publications that everybody should have a mentor. But it's estimated that only about 20% of the workforce in the US have a mentor, and it's about a similar proportion in the UK. I don't know the figures in Nigeria and whether that's similar around the world in every other country, but not everybody has a mentor, but it's strongly, strongly encouraged. So in a sense, some of the things that I want to talk about are, things that have been alluded to already about believing in yourself, believing that you're worthy of working with somebody else and developing yourself and developing your skill set. Networking, crossing boundaries, building those relationships, those diverse relationships that Sana talked about right at the beginning. Also continuously learning, never stand still, always be willing to change and adapt. And Erica was talking about that, really, about making changes and asking other people for help, which really does link in so fantastically well to mentoring. And also Mulundu talked about this idea about self-leadership too, because in order to begin a mentoring relationship, you've got to be prepared to make that step in investing in yourself and setting goals that you can then discuss with somebody else. So a lot of the things that our earlier speakers have been talking about really paralleling very nicely to what I'm going to talk about.
Excellent.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say is really something Erica talked about too, about the growth mindset, this sense of embracing challenge and, having a positive outlook on life, being positive about yourself and giving yourself a real good pat on the back to encourage yourself to go on and achieve, because, that self-belief is really important. Learning new skills and learning from feedback. These are all elements of a growth mindset, which are so important to a really effective mentoring relationship.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hilary. You just, in a nutshell, you captivated everything everyone has said, because you are the crown in here. We all need mentors all the way in our career for different things, for school, for work, for parenting, for everything. We need mentors. And we're just going to go right into the questions, to make our subject matter more expansive for people to get more knowledge and, get value from it. So we talked about mentorship often brings invaluable insight and perspective. Yes, definitely. I am a product of mentorship. Noella is my mentor. It is because of her I am here today. So I am a fan of mentorship. So how can individuals actively observe and apply the wisdom shared by their mentors to push themselves to a personal and professional growth, rather than solely relying on, advice without implementation? How can we draw out the insights and perspective, from our mentors, and using that wisdom to apply it in our lives? How easy it is? What are the strategies, mentees can take on?
Okay, well, Ogo and Noella, you're a really good case study here of mentoring, because here you've got her in the background. He's done a lot of the networking, bringing people on board, and then she's putting you in the spotlight to host the whole thing, to give you a profile. So I think it's a great example of a fantastic mentoring relationship. So to answer the question then, catalyzing the opportunity, I think mentoring is a learning process, and it's a learning process for both the mentor and the mentee, but it's also a learning process for the organization, because the organization benefits immeasurably from effective mentoring. So if you think about different learning theories, I mean, learning theory is one of my things, and I try and practice what I preach by reflecting all the time, engaging in reflective practice. And if you take that into a mentoring relationship, I think you're half the way there. So a reflective process means going into the relationship with a mentor with concrete experiences that you want to discuss. So I'm struggling to be heard. I'm struggling to take leadership roles. I'm struggling to build a network. So you're going into that relationship with an experience you want to discuss. you've taken the time prior to this to reflect on it, and you've realized, actually, I've got a problem here because I'm not dealing with it, or I've tried a lot of things and they're not working, so I need some help. You've reflected already. So that's part of the reflective process. Then you kind of maybe need a mentor to help you step back from that, to start thinking, to conceptualize it, to think, what's going on here? Let's work out what some of the root issues are. Let's think about strategies that you might try. So that's the third stage, this kind of conceptualizing, which you do with a mentor. And then the last stage is actually putting things into practice. So the mentor's giving you the confidence to set some goals and then to go out and try things. So I think getting the most out of a mentoring relationship is around learning theory, really. It's around sort of engaging in that reflective process. I mean, you might also try the grow model, which is a kind of core coaching technique. I've been coaching one of my friend's daughters recently, who was struggling with sort of career development and was felt she was in a bit of a dead end position with her role. So I took her through the grow model, the coaching model, and now I'm so pleased 6 months later, she's landed a job that she really wanted. And, you know, so that's a great success. And you can see that as a kind of coach mentor, I feel quite fulfilled by the fact that she's succeeded. So as a mentor, there's a lot that mentoring gives back to you. So the grow model is setting a goal. What is it that you want to achieve? It might be promotion, it might be leadership development, it might be more confidence, it might be more communication skills. So what's your goal? What's your current reality? So where are you now? What are some of the blockers? What are some of the things that are stopping you from getting where you want to be? What are the barriers? So that's the R. So the goals, the reality is the R.
Yeah.
O is options. And this is where mentoring can really help. To be an objective. This the things you can try. These are some of the ideas we've got, so you can explore options. And then the W is will. So grow is goals, reality, options, and will. So that's making a change, being willing to do something about it, to take action once you've been through this process. So getting the most out of mentoring is about applying learning theory and being willing to make the changes, you know, that Erica and others have talked about tonight too.
Well, Dr. Hilary, thank you for, making it sink, grow. Everybody should have that, acronym in their heads, grow. I am sure they picked up on what they should focus on mentorship. And everything you said is true to word, because maybe I did not have an acronym for it, grow, but that's the process I went through, with mentorship and with anybody that is mentoring me or coaching me. That is actually the process. So thank you for giving a name to it. So it's called grow. So yeah, absolutely love that. Love that. So how can we identify the right mentors? This is a huge challenge. And I know my journey before I met Noella. It was a long and hard journey before I could zero in and I think I am at home with this mentor. I think guidelines, that should align your personal and professional aspiration, and what steps can we take to cultivate those meaningful relationship, mentor and mentee relationships to further and foster growth? Please help us with that. Yes.
Well, I'll try. But obviously, we're in this together, so we're all learning together, and nobody's got all the answers, actually.
Yeah.
But I would say there's a 7-step process involved here. So the previous one was 4, grow. This one's 7. So the first thing to do is find someone you admire. So again, you've articulated, your relationship with Noella, and somebody you looked up to, sort of stepped in and has kind of helped you in your journey. Mulundu talked about values, being important. And I would say try and find somebody who kind of shares your values. Okay, they're a fingerprint. Everybody's got slightly different sort of sets of values, but who are you aligned to? Because you need to get on. You need to have kind of commonality. So maybe somebody who is in their career that you can take an interest in. So find someone you admire. The second step is find someone who's achieved the goals you're aiming for, ideally. So if you want to move into that next level of management, find somebody that's already got there or even got to the level above that, because, obviously you can talk to them about their career path, about the barriers they've faced, and they can help you overcome some of the hurdles that you might encounter on your own journey. Step 3 is looking for somebody who is able and willing to take on the relationship, because as Noella probably will testify, being a mentor is it does involve time. You have to set your time aside. to spend with somebody, and you have to have the motivation to do it. So find somebody who is willing to help you kind of step outside your current horizon and into new cross boundaries and go in different directions. Somebody ideally, as Sana talked about, with diverse contacts. So try and find somebody who is well networked in areas that you're not. Granovetter is somebody that I really admire, a writer on networking theory, and he wrote very much around strong and weak ties. Strong ties are your family and friends, and Erica talked about her family, you know, people that you could call on no matter what's going on. They're always going to be there for you. You're never going to lose those in your network. But the weak ties are people, business relationships or colleagues at work or people outside your organization or people in professional groups that you don't really have very strong relationships with. But Granovetter said that it's the weak ties actually that are the most important for professional development. So cultivating more weak ties, so getting a bigger network, a broader network, a more diverse network, not people you see every day, not friends and family that you might call on a regular basis, but somebody you know you can ring up if you need something, or you can get in contact to, you know, make contact with. So building up that network is key. So look for somebody who's willing to help you build a relationship and can help build relationships with other people.
Okay.
The fourth thing is select someone who's willing to challenge you. So we never really learn if we're just doing the same old thing, working habitually. You know, other speakers have talked about this today, you know, trying to do things differently, you know, being willing to change. So having somebody that's willing to challenge what you're currently doing is important. So again, having that respect and that admiration for that person is quite critical. So a fifth thing then would be to cultivate the relationship, to make it work, is to actually ask for a meeting, and that can be hard to do. I don't know how you and Noella got together, but you might be in an event, or you might see somebody face to face, or you might hear somebody talking on a Teams meeting and then decide to drop them an email or get in contact with them. So work out what your pitch is. So I've been following your career for a while, and I really admire what you've done. Or I'm looking to build my career. I'm looking to build my networks, and I think you could be somebody that could help me. So think about what your pitch might be to this person, and then make an invitation for them to join you for a coffee or for lunch. So treat it informally first to start building that relationship. The next thing then is to nurture the relationship. So making the time to get to know them, letting them make the time to get to know you, and give follow-ups as well. So after you've had a first meeting, summarize what you've learned. Oh, that's been really helpful. I've learned this, this, and this. Or you've really helped me, you know, sharpen my goals or understand where I need to, the direction I need to go in. So give them some feedback. And then maybe follow up after a few weeks. So since we last met, I've done this, this, and this, and it's really worked for me. And suggest another meeting. So nurture the relationship, you know, it needs investing in. And then maintain the relationship is the seventh one. So, you know, keep in touch with them, discuss your goals, and then thank them, obviously, for helping you, and give them the opportunity to use you too, where if they need to. So they might be working on a big presentation. They might want somebody to give an objective view. So offer to help, you know, them too. So you're reciprocating, and that's when the relationship works best, I think.
Wow. Dr. Hilary, you know that the comment section is full. So I'm going there. Like I said, this is a challenge for people. They are eager, they really want this. And I'm just going to dive right into it, please, with your permission, you know, just to showcase some questions, you know, that can help with some clarity. So I have Hilda. I think Hilda, yes, please. She says, Dr. Hilary, I have people who admire my capabilities. I mentor them, but deep down, I know I need one. It's been difficult to find one around me. How then can I take charge of those things I still feel I lack and I need to build on? So this is a mentor who is saying that people admire me. Yeah, and they feel I'm doing a good job, but I think I'm lacking. How do I, you know, find someone to help me to mentor my mentees? That's where they are right now.
Yeah, well, I would say believe in yourself, because you're obviously doing a great job, and that's why people are coming to you. People see something in you that they really admire, and they want to learn from you. So I think self-belief I think it was Melinda who talked about self-leadership, didn't she? That's what you're demonstrating, really. You're demonstrating self-leadership, and other people are sort of being attracted to that because they can see what you're achieving. You know, I guess maybe think about getting a mentor yourself if you haven't already got one, because whatever
But
level you
she's
are.
she's struggling on getting a mentor because
Yeah.
she feels that she wants one. So she's struggling with that. So she's wondering how she can manage that better.
To find a mentor.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yes.
So to find a mentor, some of the things that I've been talking about, really, think about people you admire. Who in your network do you admire? Is there somebody in your workplace? Is there somebody at another organization? Is there somebody that you've been following on social media? Who is it that you admire? And then have the confidence to make your pitch, you know, pitch to that person why you think that they would be really great working with you as a mentor and what you feel the relationship could bring. So, you know, I think go for it, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay, the second question is, at what point in your life or career do you need a mentor? Is it okay to choose who to mentor you? Obviously, you can choose, if no, why. But they're asking, at what point in their career do they need a mentor? Is it when they're starting off mid-level, or when they want to enter leadership role? What type of mentor do they need across their lifespan?
Yeah.
That's
Well, you are going to need different forms of mentoring at different times of your kind of career stage and your life stage, really. And I think everybody needs a mentor. Probably everybody needs a mentor all of the time. It's just you might need slightly different things from different mentors. So when you're first starting out in your career, it might be about, you know, how do I build my confidence? We hear a lot about imposter syndrome, and I think a lot of people have that within organizations. You know, you kind of join an organization and you kind of think, well, I'm not really worthy. I'm not good enough. Everybody's a lot better than me, smarter than me, and all of that. So when you first start out, maybe you just need a little bit of confidence boosting. You need somebody to sort of be a kind of a workplace guide for you, to sort of explain how things work and to give you some positive feedback, really. But as you progress through your career, you might actually hit blocks. I mean, us women, we often hit that glass ceiling, don't we? We get to a certain level and we can't break through. We can't get to the next level of senior management. So is there a senior management at the next level or above them that you could work with that then could kind of sponsor you in a sense? Because mentoring to some extent can be a form of sponsorship, that, you know, you build up a relationship with them and they start talking about you to other people, and they sort of say, actually, you know, Noella would be a great fit for you for this particular project because I know she's been working on very similar areas. So they start to become a kind of sponsor for you to help you get through that glass ceiling. So, and then obviously when you get to very senior levels of organization, you might want a mentor that's outside the organization, maybe in a professional, works for a similar organization, or a totally different organization, maybe works for a charity sector or a public sector organization. You might want a mentor in a totally different field, because the kind of you might be dealing with is, you know, how to make tough decisions, how to take risks, how to you know, communicate more effectively to an external audience. You might need different sorts of things. So I think this is why, in terms of choosing your mentor, start by going through that reflective process. So think about where you are now. What's your reality? What are your challenges? And therefore, what do you need from a mentor at this particular time? What kind of person are you looking for?
Wow, Dr. Hillary, the comment section is buzzing. Everyone is getting better clarity on getting a mentor. I know that people are confused because you don't want to have too many mentors in your life. And is it better to have one mentor who has the entire capacity, that, you know, has life experience, has career experience? Is it easier to pursue that line than having 4 or 5 people? Because building a relationship over a long period of time takes a lot of energy, time, effort, even money is required. So what is your final take on, building that relationship?
Yeah, well, I would say there's no golden rule here, you know, in terms of the number of mentors. I would say, you know, that there are different mentors for different things. I mean, when Erica was talking about being a mum, and I can remember when my son was born 21 years ago. He was my first child, and I was living nowhere near any family, as is often the case here in the UK. People work a long way from family and contacts. And so I needed mentors who were experienced mothers, because I didn't know anything about bringing up a child. My mother was sadly no longer here with us. So I needed, even though I was in a workplace situation with a workplace mentor helping me with my work things, I needed somebody that could help me with my kind of home, my maternal, my kind of relationship with my baby. And that was a totally different sort of mentoring relationship. So I found that through, a local NCT, National Childbirth Trust group that I was a member of. So there are different forms of mentoring. There's work mentors, but there's also life mentors, aren't there? And maybe it's an elderly relative or a kind of wise cousin that we look for to help us with certain life decisions. I know I've probably got 20 or 30 different people that I call on for different things when I'm trying to make decisions, because I know the different people in my life have got different skills. So I think it's being self-aware, it's being aware of what you need, and it's being confident enough. I think it was Erica who said, or it might have been Melinda, ask for help. Be confident asking for help, because people feel good about helping other people. It makes them feel,
Yeah, makes sense. Wow. Dr. Hilary, thank you so much for your time, expertise, giving us clarity, breaking it down in GROW, giving us a 7-point agenda for getting a mentor. And I know everyone is following through those methods, and everything you say is on point, because I went through all that process, but maybe not in that order, but I think I touched on every aspect of it to get the kind of mentors I have. And I do have mentors on different levels at different points in my life, but there are some mentors that, home to me, and I just stick with them for a longer period of time. So thank you so much. We've had a great time with you. We will definitely want an extended version of this sometime in the future. The team is going to organize something else, and you are going to be on the hot seat, because we want to really, really get in there and get to know more about mentorship and mentee type relationship. So
well,
Hilary,
backdrop worked out properly. I didn't conference.
It's fine. Thank you, Dr. Hilary. And we move on to the next. Yes, thank you. So technical team, we have Sterling Bank here online. So I hope we've been having a good time. Yeah, I forgot for us to even have our virtual breaks, because there's no breaks on this. It's hot. And I'm so happy that everyone is getting value from our speakers, and it's been so incisive and so informative and life-changing. Like we said, this is the Growth Conference 2024. Now we have Sandra from Sterling Bank, to come and recaptivate us with what Sterling has for us. And the hostess of today, Noella, is going to ask them a few questions. So we have about 3 minutes to get this done. So Sandra and Noella, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure being here, and it's really been an impactful 3-day session with the team. Thank you so much for working with us to establish this. Now, as an organization, the Sterling Bank has always been very intentional to ensuring that we create specialized programs to all our employees, because we believe in living our best lives while doing our best work. And so some of those initiatives that we created stemmed the Momship, and that was released sometime late last year. We had over 10,000 applicants, and majorly Momship was all about how to be a boss mom, right? How stay-at-home mothers, mothers who went on career break, how you can come back into the career force and majorly just understand understanding the workplace again, and then getting yourselves and building your confidence, right? And actually channeling another line for you to earn more while also building the best you can be. Aside that, we also have other employee resource group functions we have. I heard the last speaker, Hillary, speaking to how she also sought out a mentor during after her delivery. And then Sterling actually offers a maternity hub where we have licensed gynecologists and midwives to support our expectant mothers, aside from other facilities, aside from mid-level leadership programs specialized for women, career learning for our employees, because we're very intentional about the girl child, about our women. So it's more or less employing all other organizations, right? We can't fight this alone. We need as much support and partners as we can to ensure that we women feel safe, we women feel loved, we women know that we can be whoever, we can be bosses in whatever channel we find ourselves in. So it's really been an honor being part of this journey all 3 days, and really thank you to the organizers of this.
Thank you, Sandra. We have Noella here to ask you a few questions that the audience would like to find out more about your program or package from Sterling. Noella, you have the floor now.
Hello, Sandra. Good evening. Welcome again to this program. You know, this Momship initiative really resonates with the topic that Erica dealt with today, which is finding harmony between career and family. I guess that's what the Momship program is about. And it's a good thing that we actually had that topic before we approached you. You know, I stumbled on the Momship program on the net, and I said, wait a minute. We have a topic on balancing career and family life, or finding harmony, because I mean, it's difficult to really, it's impossible to create a balance. You can just find harmony because there's no way you can, you know, distribute your time equally to family and career, you know. And so I had to seek you guys out. And it's been an amazing thing listening to you in the last 2 days. Now, I want to find out, this Momship program, is it restricted to people in Nigeria alone? Or can people from outside Nigeria apply for the jobs?
Okay, so for now it's just for Nigeria, but we had launched the first leg, which was only open to those in Nigeria. But the next one we'll be doing would always be exploring persons or mothers who are outside Nigeria too.
Okay, okay. So is there any particular academic qualification that people are looking for?
Okay, so there actually is no particular academic qualification. So what we did with the Momship was we knew that there were various categories of skill sets that our mothers have. Remember, this is not just for persons who have had any sort of education. It's more or less creating both internship, right? It's more or less creating full-time opportunities, internship, fixed-term engagements. We created it in such a way that we can cater to every mother out there. So for those who do not have experience, they can come in on the internship side, and then we'll give them working experience. For those who have had experiences and possibly took a career break, we already created the fixed term engagement or the gig work, right? So that it can also cater to the dynamics of them in the family.
Okay, great. Any age limits?
So age limits, no. We had age limits. We started with mothers who are about 18 as an eligible workforce.
5-year-old mom who took a career break. Hi. Sandra, what are you laughing?
No. So from 18 and above.
18. So what's the limit? What's the age limit?
So there's no age limit.
Okay. All right. So I assume there's going to be a hybrid kind of arrangement, you know, work from home, work on site kind of arrangement, right?
Yes, so the arrangements we have both the internship, like I mentioned earlier, we have both the gig work, and we also have both the internship, the gig work, and also the fixed term engagement. So that covers the various modes, which is either the work from home, or which is either working on site, or which is either hybrid. So again, we tailored it to the dynamics of various families, right? And also to our business needs. So being able to create such that works also for everyone, for all
There was
stakeholders.
something you said yesterday that I found quite interesting. You said you have nurseries or creches or where moms could keep their children or something like that. I don't know if I heard you well.
Oh yes, so yes, we do have a crèche. I mentioned yesterday that we have a crèche, and I also mentioned yesterday that we have a maternity now. So now the maternity hub is in partnership with certified gynecologists and midwives to offer guidance, right, for expectant mothers. So aside that, so during their 9 months period, so aside a crèche for mothers who want to join back, for our employees who recently delivered and are coming back into the workforce. So from 3 months and above, they're able to bring their babies, and then we're able to cater for them. So that's about 3 to 2.
Okay, so are the moms going to pay for these services, the gynecologist's service and the crèche services?
Are they going to what? I didn't hear you.
Are the moms meant to pay for the services?
No. So the moms do not pay for the services for the maternity hub. It's free. I mean, they're expectant mothers, so it's actually free for them. So that's free. For the crèche is subsidized. So
Hilda, from the side of the participants, there are no fees. She just mentioned that. So mothers are not going to pay for the crèche services, and they are not going to pay for the gynecologist's services. Thank you very much for this, Sandra. So moms, you can see that there's something beautiful for you cooking at Sterling Bank. And Sandra,
what's the application process like? Sandra, what's the application process like? I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh yes, I can hear you. So the application process, there is a filtering process, right? The application was opened for mothers who indicated interest to apply, and then there's just a two-level application, a two-level screening process just to engage and filter, because again we had 1,000 mothers apply. Right, so being able
is the process still ongoing? Is it still ongoing? Is it always going to be ongoing?
Yes, definitely. So presently
we have a link for us drop somewhere so that we can share.
So yes, we do. So presently we have closed, but we will be having a next cohort, and then once that happens, we will definitely see it.
Oh, okay. There are cohorts that happen periodically. That's what you mean.
Yes, it happens periodically. Yes.
Is it in all states in Nigeria?
Yes, it's actually open to all states in Nigeria.
Okay, so when can we know when the next cohort will be opened? When can we get that information?
Well, once it gets live, we will definitely put it on all our social media platforms and all our partners, so that they can also help us to put the word out that the Momship is back again. This was the flagship, which just launched the end of last year, right? And we already know that this was a success, and we are intentional to ensure that we continue to do our best to.
Okay. Excellent. I don't know if there are any questions. I'm just looking through the comment section and just asking any other questions, but I think that's okay. So Sandra is saying that they are going to roll over a new cohort soon, and when it's ready, it's going to be on all their platform, websites, social media, and also I think we're going to get access to the link so that we can share with the participants on our groups. So Hilda, I hope that has answered your questions. It's not yet open, but it will soon be open for applications very soon. Thank you, Sterling Bank. This is a lot of relief for a lot of women and mothers, and even people who are giving them hope that they can come back to the workforce. Appreciate it. So very quickly, we are going over.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Okay,
Thank
she's
you.
back. Yeah. Okay. So we're going over to the exports merchant. He's a guru, Mr. Udofia. How are you doing today? Good evening. Welcome. People have been waiting for you. They had loads of questions the last time you came on. So Noella is going to ask you questions, to help bring further more information or clarity to people who are quite interested in the IEOM. Yes. So you're welcome. So
thank you very much.
You can take off now. You have 3 minutes to close this out.
Good evening, Mr. Ofon.
Thank you, Noella, for this good package you put forth for women and men alike.
I like the sound of men alike, because yes, it's for women, but with the help of the men who support us, and you are one of those men who support us. So very quickly, we would like to know, because after this session, after this conference, a lot of people have already called me asking to know how they can get into exports. Okay, so what do you have for people who want to go into exports? How do those people get equipped? Because export is international trade. And with my banking background, I know that international trade is not something you just walk into blindly. You need to learn. You need to learn a lot of things about international trade. Now, how do people who are interested get started in the business of exports?
Okay, first of all, if you want to go into export, both in Nigeria and in another country, you must have a legal identity. Your company must be incorporated, or it must be a cooperative society or an NGO that want to venture into exports. Thereafter, you must have your own certificate from the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, or if you're in Ghana, you go to Ghana Export Authority. If you're in Kenya and other countries, they have that. You get your own license to enable you to do export, so that you repatriate the money back to your country. After that, the next thing you need to do is, how do I go about it? You need to be trained. That is where IEOM will actually come in. Because for you to export, you must know your products. For you to export, you must be export ready. For you to export, your products must be export ready. So at that juncture, we'll be able to hold your hand to make you export ready, your product export ready, and also help you to get markets for your export products, and then also help you, because it's one thing to export, another thing is to get paid. So we are going to go alongside with you to navigate that you'll be able to export and you'll also be able to get your money back to your country.
Fantastic.
I think she has a little bit of network issue. So, Mr. Udofia, I'm trying to go through the comment section to see if we have questions for export. So, but I think at some point I was interested in exports, but the regulations and the paperwork are quite cumbersome, right? How best do you simplify this for new entrants?
Yes. Actually, the government has really tried to reduce the number of agencies in the ports. So during the period of our training, we will also tell you how you can navigate those ones, how you can match those groups, how you can work with a good clearing or forwarding agent, because some of these challenges are with our freight forwarders. When they know you're a novice, they want to make more money than you, the exporter. So we help you, because after our training in the class, if you visit our site, visit our YouTube, our Instagram, and like us, you see most of the pictures put there. We were at the port. We have been to Sinkan Island before. We have been to Apapa Port. We have been to One Port. Why do we go to this port? We want you to have a face-to-face contact with the customs. If you have a challenge, who do you talk to? We also take you to the port economic regulator. So all those things put in place, just like when you're in school and you are studying engineering, but you are out of school to work, nobody asks you of the YDX, but you need to have a full knowledge of all it stands for. So that's what it is. We will navigate that alongside with you. In the institute, we are not leaving you alone. We are going out with you until you do your first export. That's when you become a graduate of the institute. While you are still learning, you are an alumni. When you do your first export and receive your money, automatically you are a graduate.
Okay. Do you help participants or people who want to get into export, the kind of products they should look into for exportation? Do you take them through that journey to help them navigate it?
We do that because, like in a place like
where is my network now?
Where you have a lot of products and exporters, it's like a hub. We also have a center. Hello, we have a center where we can help you make sure that these products are done and it's going through certification. We help you navigate NAFDAC, help you navigate FDA, halal, and the rest certification that will enable your products to sell well in the international markets.
Oh, thank you. I think, I don't know if any more questions. I know most of the questions I would have asked for clarity, but I'm sure that people are going to definitely connect with you. They have been bugging Noella about your contact and how valuable you can be to them. So, Mr. Odofia,
once again, there's a program we are coming up with that will interest even Sterling Bank. We have patented a program called E4I, Exports for Import. That is basically for people that are doing trade who will not afford dollars, have access to foreign exchange. So we can use their money to help them do export and then use that same money to do import. We also have the program we call E for school fees. For you to have your children overseas, you can use your dollar, now your naira, to do your export from Nigeria and use that proceeds to pay your children's school fees. So when they are contacted, we also let them know how they can go about that.
Oh, wow. Excellent. 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 So I guess, okay, she's back. Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Odofia, being that we have people from different countries, how can we get everybody, connected to be able to do this international business together? How can we get Ghana to trade with Nigeria, Nigeria to trade with Kenya, and things like that? Can the Institute of Export Operations and Management facilitate this? Because people really want to get started.
Certainly we can, and it's even easier for us to trade among ourselves in Africa. In 2017, I was in Tanzania for a program by International Trade Center, and eventually we formed an association called Intra-African Trade Association, which I'm currently the president. So what we do is that we navigate you from Kenya to trade with somebody in Rwanda, and you know quite all that Rwanda and UG, that is Uganda, don't have a port. So they're using the port of Mombasa, or they're using the port from Tanzania. So that is already happening there. And we're also trying to see what we can do between Nigeria and Ghana, which is a trade route. So all these are possible because through our interaction and our belonging to the International Trade Center of United Nations, and also being a trainer for the Women in Export program called She Trade Global, which our women can actually belong into. In that platform, I have been given a title. I am the deputy husband to all the women in export ecosystem. So when you see people calling me deputy husband in some platform, it's because of the passion I have for women, training them from packaging to exports.
Could you shed a little more light on the She Trade platform?
Okay, the She Trade platform is an initiative of the International Trade Center. In 2014, we were in Rwanda to launch that program, and the target was to merge 2 million women together, not he trade. This time is she trades. So they were to trade among themselves, and they were to do business among themselves. And we were giving 4,000 slots in Nigeria, and we still have a lot of space yet to be registered. So all the women in the world, starting from Egypt to South Africa, from Kenya to Uganda, from Nigeria to Ghana, and the rest of the world. And there are a lot of incentives. You have free training on that platform. We are one of the verifiers. When you get to the platform to register on SheTrade Global, when they ask you, because you belong to this conference, just tell them that you're from IEOM. Then there are a lot of benefit you get from there. Sometimes with UPS, with DHL, you have some incentive. When you are sending, you have about 30% rebate on what you are sending, as long as you are on that platform from IEOM. So it is a platform mainly for women. You upload your product, it's 100% free.
So it's like an e-commerce platform.
Exactly.
For women.
Exactly.
And it is totally free.
100% free. You register, and they also train you online equally on different things, either spices, like shea butter, and also like on Afrocentric garments and the likes. So that is done completely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Odofia. So could you share the number that interested people can reach you on, so that it's easy for them to further engage with you?
Okay. My number is 080. Let me
call it out.
080. That's plus 2344 for outside Nigerians. Plus 234 80 33 40 6426. You can also check us out on different social media.
Plus 234. Could you just go through that again? Plus 234.
Plus 234 80 33 40
33
40 64 26.
64 26.
Yes.
Plus 234 80 33 40 64
26. That's my personal number. You can call me 247.
Okay. Okay, so that's Mr. Ofon's number in the chat section. He said you can call him anytime. Mr. Ofon is widely traveled. He's been to a lot of African countries, trading, not just visiting. He understands export like the back of his hands. And now, again, Mr. Ofon, one challenge that people face when it comes to export is knowing the fast-moving commodities, where to get them and who to get them from. Is this something that the Institute can also help interested members with?
Yes, we can do that often, because we know where the products are, not only in Nigeria, in the entire African continent. And as a matter of fact, by the end of this month, one of our members is doing yam to America. In Atlanta, we have a partnership warehouse that you send your items to them, it will be repackaged and be sold. We are also doing that in UK. So before the end of this quarter, we can help you, tell you where to buy, how to package, how to make quality. We have trained staff all over the country and in some parts of Africa that we can navigate that for you, giving you where to sell. Currently, we have market for hibiscus, which is Zobo. And if you put in, maybe like in Nigeria, it will be about 25 million naira. You'll be coming out with a total turnover of $36,000. So by the time you subtract that, you see that we are putting that amount of money. You are getting almost between $9,000 to $8,000 for a transaction of 90 days.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odofia. So we'll continue this conversation at another time, at another forum as well. So for all the people here, if you want to know more about the export business, we have our Indian colleagues here as well. So we are going to take this to the WhatsApp platform, and we'll let you know what the Institute of Export Operations and Management has for us after now. Thank you so much, Mr. Odofia.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. May God keep and protect you for such a wonderful work, for putting the world together, women and men. It's a pleasure to work with you. You are a pride to Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. Ogo.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Odofia. We really appreciate your time and what your team is doing in exports, and especially for women. So we have come to, sadly, but with great hope, with great information, with great attitude, with a great mindset, we are coming to the end of the Growth Conference 2024. We've had 12 speakers. We've had speakers from across the world. We've had participants from across the world come on this platform to engage, to listen, to change our mindset, and eventually grow. And that no other person that did this mind-blowing conference and put it together than the personal growth coach, Noella Ugu. She has been our hostess. Like you heard, she's a mentor to many people. She is a leader. She is definitely one of the best coaches I have interacted with. And everywhere I go, they always ask me, where did you learn this from? It's always something unique. It's never duplicated anywhere. So if you're on this platform, you have connected with her, and I can assure you that you have connected with one of the best minds in this industry. So we are all lucky to have you. So Noella Ugu, I'm yielding the platform to you to actually round off the program and close it. Sadly, but we have to close it. Thank you all. Thank you. Technical team, please spotlight Noella. Emmanuel?
I think she has a network issue, but let's just give her a minute to get back on.
A minute. Okay, before she comes back on, we are just going to have a quick recap of all our speakers today. I can see some comments in the chat box, really. And let me go through it. But my personal learnings has been very extensive. And I'll go from the first speaker, Sana, who spoke about inclusion. And we're just going to go through some of the highlights. I did highlights for day 1 and day 2. And some of the highlights is she spoke about leadership and treating people well. Don't just, make policies, really make pledges or promises that transcend to actual communications. And those communication means that you have to come down to the level of your people to begin to interact with them so they understand what inclusion really is. It's about leadership. We need leaders with empathy, and leaders need to enforce this rule either via activities or just engaging with their employees. You lead not by doing, not by ordering. We need to create and encourage diversity in teams. Means that if there's a project, always mix up your team. I'll say make it a cocktail of people with ideas from different backgrounds, different ages. Is she back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so we're yielding.
So for network or no network, we must finish what we started.
Yes, so I yield the floor back to close off this event and to give your final words to participants across the world. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you so much, our wonderful team. Emmanuel, who has been our technical guru. He never shows his face, but he is so instrumental to what you have seen today, making sure that we have a glitch-free event. Thank you to Sandra, our official events consultant, who has been coordinating, putting things together, ensuring that the participants, the speakers, and that everybody had a very good experience. Thank you so much to Chinwashila Ikpoki, who is the co-moderator with Ogo. You ladies have been so amazing. Thank you so much, Ogo, for always being there, for always answering the call at short notice. Chinwe, you left everything you were doing to answer this call. I know you're a very busy mom, a very, very busy mom, but you sacrificed your time, your energy, everything to ensure that we had an amazing time. To our audience, I don't know what to tell you, but all I can say is thank you for honoring our invitation from different parts of this world. And I hope it was worth your time. And I'm going to say that the Growth Conference is just the beginning of what we're going to be doing. This is not going to be just an event. This is a project that we are running. So there are going to be other spin-offs from this conference. So if you're in the WhatsApp group, please stay tuned, stay there, hang in there, because we're going to be sharing our subsequent plans for the Growth Conference, what we're going to be doing, who we're going to be doing it with. And like we mentioned in passing, we are going to be interviewing every speaker at this Growth Conference, because we know that they have so much in them, but we can't afford to keep you longer than necessary. Our intention had always been not to exceed 10:15 p.m. West African time, and we've managed to keep to that time. Now, the highlight of this event for me was when Erica came here with her baby strapped on her back and bouncing the baby as she was making this presentation. It was heartwarming, and I'm so proud of her. You know, her topic was finding harmony between career and family. And what she put up this evening was just an epitome. It was just a confirmation that it doesn't have to be either or. But again, like she mentioned, you might not grow at the pace that you want to grow, because the moment family steps in, some things have to give. You have to slow down to nurture your baby, but you don't have to throw away your dream or your career. So we could just see how she was finding this harmony. Even the rhythm, just bouncing the baby, reminded me of the time when I had to put my 2-month-old baby on a dining table while I prepared my presentation for my clients. So my baby was on the dining table with me, safe, secured, while I was typing. You know, after a while, I just told myself, oh my goodness, this baby has been here all the while. You know, and this is a lot of women. These are the things we have to grapple with. Erica said, just know that you're doing well. You are doing just fine. I sincerely hope that with everything we took away from our amazing speakers, that we're going to take action. If we do not take action, nothing changes. If we do not take action, nothing happens. And this is going to be my parting phrase to everybody here. Just know that for success to happen, growth must happen. For success to happen, growth must happen. And growth is the only guarantee that things are going to be better. If you want anything better in your life, then you have to grow in that area where you want things to become better. So don't stop growing. Don't stop growing. Look for every opportunity to grow. And every time you grow, give yourself a pat on the back. Your growth doesn't have to be spectacular. No matter how little you have grown, even in character, celebrate that growth. It's good, and it's going to help you become a better person. Thank you so much, everybody. And I hope to see you again at the next edition of the Growth Conference. Thank you, and have an amazing 2024.
So can we have virtual snapshots people can put on their videos, please, before we officially close this? At least make your presence, tell us that you were here. So the next edition, you can tell people you were part of this. So let's turn on our cameras. Technical team, please, let's have a snapshot for the event.
All right, can we all turn on our cameras, please? Just turn on your camera so that we can have a quick snapshot. Okay. All right. Our speakers, if you're still here, please just turn on your cameras.
Hi, Mulundu.
Awesome.
Hi, it's been amazing.
Thank you. Afi, how are you doing? Theo, Rufina, Adangel, Christiana, I can see you all.
Hi, Noella.
Hi.
I'm still there. Oh,
Hi,
I can
Afilin.
see Amaka. I can see Rosalie, Ijoma. Aditya, how are you? I can see
Good,
Kathy,
ma'am.
Abigail, Amy, Favor, Rashida. I can see you all, Joy, Atsu, Barbara, Walia. Walia, are you related to Mulundu? Looks like you share the same surname.
All right, I think we have it. I think we have something that we can work with. So thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being part of this. We're so happy to have you on.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Always speaking from the background.
thank you, Manuel. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you're joining us from. God bless you all. See you next time. And keep growing. Don't stop growing.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Thank you.
Fully, fully.
Wellus.
Where is Wellus? Wellus, where are you?
I really appreciate you all. Oh. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Wellus, let me see your
so much.
face.
I'm also I'm transmitting like Emmanuel. Back end. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Ibiba, I hope you were captured as well. If you turned on your camera, you would have been captured. Okay?
Mm.